Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, in this video, we're going to talk about this case that we've been following. And this is the case of Anna Kepner, 18 years old, on a cruise ship with all her family, 9 members, including her, 9 members of Anna's family on this cruise, her blended family. But she was not safe. She was not safe. She was found wrapped in a blanket, covered in lifebelt jackets, and stuffed under her bed, deceased. And the FBI have declared it as a homicide. So it is a homicide, according to them. They've not said much else. There was toxicology reports were clear. She had not been drinking, taking drugs, etc. Her cause of death is from a chokehold, strangulation or pressure from a chokehold. And the prime suspect is her stepbrother, who was sharing the room with her. Anna was sharing a stateroom on this cruise ship, the Carnival cruise ship in Miami, this sailed from. And poor Anna went onto this cruise ship full of excitement, probably about her holiday. She'd been on this cruise ship before. She loved it. She was looking forward to it. And she was taken off this cruise ship in a body bag, 18 years old, snuffed out completely. Her life gone, finished. She had a lot of promise. She was wanted to join the forces. She wanted to be a K9 handler. You know, she was bright. She was attractive. She apparently lit up the room. Whenever she entered a room, she lit it up. She's, one of these girls, lovely inside and out, and it came to this horrible end when she should have been looking forward to Christmas. Now, should have come off a cruise ship, had that brilliant holiday, and then now be looking forward to Christmas. That's what should be happening to this girl, of course. But that's not what happened, is it? It's not what happened. So the family dynamics in this case are off the charts. Anna's father has reputedly got a penchant for young girls himself. He was married to Anna's mother. He then had an affair with the babysitter, who he then married when she was old enough to get married. And that was his second wife, and Shauna now is his third wife. And in between, he's apparently had lots of affairs with young girls, according to Anna's mother, who herself is a recovering drug addict, who seemed to lose touch with Anna. But I honestly feel in this case, everybody let Anna down. It's like nobody listened to her. She was like, as I've said before, she's like the sensible one in the Addams family. Everybody else just doing their own thing, and there's Anna. She's like the only normal one. And, everybody, she's like the scapegoat of the family, and she ended up paying with her life. So now we've got this controversy between what Anna's ex says about Anna's stepbrother, who's 16, sharing that room with her, and he's the prime suspect in this case, but he has not been arrested at all. And that's what we're going to talk about. Why hasn't he been arrested yet? He's apparently been moved out of the family home to live with another relative. But there's another young girl in this household, his own sister. And her father, the father of both the stepbrother and the sister of this very confusing blended family, he took out an emergency court session. He wants the children taken away from the mother, Shauna, because of what's happened. And that's what we're going to look at, the court case. Honestly, this case literally is like parallel universe. So the father of the boy who's accused of killing Anna, he's the one that's gone to court because he wants to get his daughter taken out of that household. And he knows it's his own biological son that is accused of killing Anna, or reputedly has killed Anna, but hasn't been charged yet. I mean, are you confused yet? You will be. Do you remember that program, Soap? Comedy program that used to be on years ago. That was about a dysfunctional family, wasn't it? I think it was based on this family. If you're not confused yet, you soon will be. So let's get this clear. So 9 people went on this cruise. So that was Anna's biological father, her stepmother, her stepbrother, her stepsister, her biological brother, I think. Though sometimes people say, on the articles that I look at, sometimes they say it was another stepbrother, but I thought he was a biological brother, the other boy, the 18-year-old. So who else? Her grandma, her grandpa, that's 7. Anna, that's 8. So who was the other one? There must be another child somehow. It's like, it is so confusing, the whole thing. Anyway, so Anna's ex-boyfriend said he saw a disconcerting side to Anna's stepbrother, that once when he was FaceTiming Anna, this stepbrother who's accused of killing her, or he's thought to have killed her, jumped on top of Anna while she was in bed. But the stepmother, she's saying, oh no, they were all really good friends, and that Anna, her stepbrother, and her brother were like the Tres Amigos. They loved each other. And the reason that they were all in that stateroom, because obviously everybody's questioned the sort of sense of putting two teenage boys and a teenage girl together in a room. You know, just most teenagers wouldn't want to share a room with someone of an opposite sex, would they? Especially not when it was a creepy stepbrother who had, reputedly, she told her friend she was scared of him. Told her ex-boyfriend she was scared of him, but no, not according to Shauna, the stepmother. They were the best of friends. They were the Tres Amigos. And Anna was offered to go and stay with her grandparents in their cabin, but she didn't want to. She wanted to stay with these two boys. This is now what the stepmother's saying. Oh my God, it is just such a tangled web, isn't it? I mean, it really is a very, very tangled web. And good luck to making sense of it. So we're going to talk about all the things that have come out recently, and like this that the stepmother's saying about the Tres Amigos. What happened in the court case? Now, it seems to me a bit of a no-brainer that when in one family someone's accused of killing a girl from that family, you would get the other girl out of there as soon as possible. I completely understand Anna's father, not Anna's father, the biological, Shauna's previous husband. He wants to get his daughter out of there, even against his own son. He doesn't want to, he's questioning the mother's judgment. And, is his daughter safe, even though the boy is living in another house apparently now? I would say no, she definitely isn't safe. Are you saying that these families will never get together? Like at Christmas, for example. I wouldn't have that boy anywhere near any girl or anyone in my family, to be honest, but any female especially. No, so this is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about my theories about what I think might have happened. Of course, you let me know what you think. Was it a deliberate homicide? I mean, it is being treated as a homicide, and allegedly it's being decided whether to prosecute federally or on the state level. I don't really understand what difference that makes. American procedures, I'm not that familiar with them. I don't know what difference it will make to the actual case. But of course, it is complicated because this murder happened in international waters. It didn't happen really, so it didn't happen within sort of the state of Miami or whatever the state is that Miami comes under. So, it's confusing, isn't it? I also wondered if they've not charged him yet because they're not sure what to charge him with. Are they going to charge him with manslaughter rather than murder? Because, are they going to be able to prove that he did it deliberately? Florida. Yeah. So, yes, the biological dad has taken, that's what I'm saying, the biological dad, Bluebell. Anyway, I've got to say my thank yous first, then say hello to everyone. So please remember to like and subscribe. Please subscribe. It's completely free. Press that notification bell so that you get details of any updates in this case or any other that we're covering. Special thank you to my members. Special thank you to those of you who send super stickers or buy Ko-fis. Thank you so much. And yeah, hello, lovely lurkers. Hello, replay crew. Thank you for watching. And now I'm going to come into the chat and see who's brave enough to put their head above the parapet. So, hi, David. I hope your head's okay this morning, David. Hi, Bluebell. Hope you're well too. Hi, Lily. Hope you're well. Yes, you like the background. Yeah, it does feel cozy, doesn't it? And festive. Hi, Daniel. Happy Sunday to you. Another week. Nearly Monday. Anna's dad. Not there. Anna's dad. Yes, he had a lot to say at the beginning, didn't he? He did give an interview right at the beginning, but he's not saying anything at the moment. No. And to be honest, nobody really is saying anything. The grandma and granddad did an interview, but the only reason that we're hearing from the stepmother is because of this court case. So court case is like somebody else say in one of these videos that we're going to watch. This court case, it's a family court, it's to do with custody. Normally, they don't grab much attention because they're only pertinent to the families that are arguing about custody, aren't they? So they don't normally reach the internet and stuff. But of course, this one has, because it's the only way we're getting any information, really. So the FBI are tight-lipped about everything, as they are, until, sooner or later, surely they're going to arrest this boy. I can't believe he's walking around. I wouldn't want him living in my house, relative or not. Could you imagine having him in your house when it's suspected? I'm really virtually certain, isn't it, that he is the one that killed Anna. There's something strange going on, so I can't believe that, I just don't see how, you'd keep your door locked at night, wouldn't you? Bloody hell. How could you have him living in your house? But anyway, my own personal opinion, as I said, I wonder if he did kill her by accident, like if he was roughhousing with her, if he was bullying her a little bit, or maybe he did try it on with her. Now, we know that Anna had no drugs, alcohol, etc. in her system, but we haven't heard whether he did or not. And it doesn't seem like they had any supervision, although Shauna says in this court thing, she doesn't think that they were gambling or they were drinking, etc. She doesn't actually know, because they were left to their own devices, really, weren't they, the Tres Amigos? I don't think Shauna and the biological dad of Anna really were taking much notice of what they were doing. But that will all come out, I suppose, eventually. So let's just have a look, first of all, at this. I want to look at... right, let me put some windows down. Yeah, let's just have a look at this shorter video first. Where is it? Right, let's have a look at this.
Elements in the investigation into a high school cheerleader found dead on a cruise ship. There have been questions about why she and her stepbrother, who the family says is a suspect, were sharing a room on the trip. But today, the stepbrother's mother took to the stand saying Anna, her stepbrother, and another family member also staying in that room were super close, calling them the three amigos.
The stepmother of the cheerleader found dead on a family cruise is speaking out about what happened on that fateful trip.
Now, what I've been struck by, anyone that I've seen being interviewed, the grandparents or biological grandparents, there's absolutely no emotion when they're talking about Anna. It's like, it's like they're talking about a trip to Asda or something, or Walmart. No, there is no emotion from this stepmother whatsoever.
At some point, did you discover that one of the children had passed away?
Yes.
Chantel Kepner says her...
Now, when he says, did you discover that one of the children had passed away? I think he needs to rephrase that, say, was murdered. She didn't pass away. That makes it sound as if she had some natural death. It wasn't natural.
18-year-old stepdaughter Anna shared a cabin on the cruise ship Carnival Horizon with her brother and her 16-year-old stepbrother, who is under suspicion in her slaying.
So she's on this massive cruise ship with all these people. She's there. There's a party of 9 of them, and this girl was not safe. I think it's disgusting.
3 of them are like the 3 amigos, they're best
The
friends.
3 amigos.
Who made the decision to have these 3 teenagers?
This woman is in complete denial. They're like the 3 amigos. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Obviously, they weren't. Now, she's saying now, whether it's true or not, that Anna was offered to go and stay with her grandparents, and she didn't want to. She wanted to stay with these 2 boys. Now, she probably did what probably wasn't bothered about staying with her own brother, her real brother. But who do we believe then? Is her ex-boyfriend lying when he said that Anna was scared of this woman's son? Now, you know what? You always want to defend your son. We all understand that, don't we? You defend your children, of course you do. But she just doesn't give a shit about Anna, does she? She does not give a shit. She's got no emotion. What is wrong with this woman? It reminds me a bit of Stefan Stern's case, Madeline Soto case. This complete denial that their little Johnny could do anything wrong and not caring about the victim. Remember with Stefan Stern's parents, they didn't give a shit about Madeline, did they? Maddie. They never talked really about her. It was how it affected them, how it affected Stefan. What a cow Jennifer was. It wasn't never really criticised their own son for what he had done. She's going to be just like that, isn't she? She reminds me of Nurse Danvers off, is it Danvers off One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest? She's got no emotion. She's talking about a murder. She's not talking about, as say a trip to Asda or a trip to Walmart. She's talking about a girl was murdered in the cabin right opposite her. You'd have more emotion whether even if you didn't know that person. Imagine finding out someone's been murdered in a cabin right opposite you.
In one room in the cruise.
We had talked it over with our traveler agent, and that was what was suggested.
Was it a mutual decision between yourself and your husband?
Correct.
5 days into the trip, Anna was found asphyxiated under her bed. Chantel says she last saw Anna the night before.
As far as you know, is the only suspect in the death of Anna, your son.
Correct.
Is going to be allowed to come back to your home at any point?
At this time, no. Not with the FBI investigation.
Well, she looks pissed off that he's not going to be allowed to come back home. I'd be saying I wouldn't have him. He'll never set foot in my house again. For God's sake, you need a secure institution, for fuck's sake, whether he's your son or not. She looks like almost disappointed that he won't be allowed out. She'd probably think this is Anna's fault as far as she's concerned. Do you remember with Stefan Stearns' parents? It was Madeline. She led him on. She was fucking 13 years old. She led him on. These type of people, women and men, that go into denial over the evilness of their children. And none of us want to believe that our kids wouldn't want to believe that our children could do anything like this. I understand that. But you know what? You've got to face reality. She does it. She would have him back. I'm sure she would. Even though she's got another young girl living in her house, she would have him back in her house. She just looks pissed off with the inconvenience. She probably had plans for Christmas and now it's all gone up, gone out the wall.
The 18-year-old brother of the teenager under suspicion also took the stand and was asked about his mother.
Did she allow you to drink alcohol?
Yeah.
Inside Edition producer Will Evans is at the courthouse.
There is a crush of reporters and photographers covering the high-profile case. Anna's 16-year-old stepbrother did not attend. He is staying with relatives while the FBI continues its investigation.
I wouldn't have him in my house. So who's this other boy here? Let's just see again. Who's this boy? Is this the 14-year-old brother?
stand and was asked about his mother.
Did she allow you to drink?
Took the stand and was asked about his mother. The teenager under suspicion also took the stand and was asked about his mother.
Did she allow you to drink alcohol?
What, this is the teenager under suspicion? Let's look again. Do you see how confusing this is? It's just so confusing.
FBI investigation.
The 18-year-old brother of the teenager under suspicion also took the stand and was asked about his mother.
Did she?
So this is the 18-year-old brother of the boy under suspicion. So he's a step brother too. So the other boy that was actually in the stateroom was the 14-year-old biological brother, wasn't it, of Anna? Do you see how confusing it is? So did she allow you to drink alcohol? He says yes, but she says she didn't. What the father, it's just ridiculous, the whole thing.
Allow you to drink alcohol?
Yeah.
Inside Edition producer Will Evans is at the courthouse.
There is a crush of reporters and photographers covering the high-profile case. Anna's 16-year-old stepbrother did not attend. He is staying with relatives while the FBI continues its investigation.
Chantel Kepner was tight-lipped as she left court.
According to his grandparents, the stepbrother told them he doesn't remember what happened.
So is that Anna's dad there with her? Let's have a look. As she leaves the courtroom, she's holding someone's hand.
Court.
According to his grandparents, the stepbrother told them he doesn't remember.
FBI continues its investigation.
Chantel Kepner.
Is that Anna's dad there? I remember he likes his young girls, this guy. He's had apparently loads of, can't call them affairs or relationships because they're underage. He's had loads of relationships with underage girls, so he's not too clever.
Was tight-lipped as she left court.
According to his grandparents, the stepbrother told them he doesn't remember what happened the night Anna died.
Yes, the I don't remember defense. I've no idea, don't remember. Now they're saying he's got ADHD and there's talk about his medication, which we're going to look at in a minute. What sort of, it makes you wonder what the defense is going to be. I think the defense will be accidental death, like manslaughter type thing. And I think that might be true. I can't believe that he deliberately meant to kill Anna. Not because I don't think he's evil enough to do it, but because would he be stupid enough to do that on a cruise ship? He wasn't going to get away with it. If he was going to kill Anna, if he had in his head that he wanted to kill her, he could have thought of a better way of, doing it and covering it up. Or maybe he'd had too much to drink and he lost control. Maybe he wasn't intending to kill her. He was just trying to subdue her so he could do something to her. And it went wrong because, chokeholds, they are risky. You can kill people if you get the wrong place. That you can use them to render people unconscious, but you've got to know exactly where you're putting the pressure. Otherwise, it can all go wrong, and maybe it did just go wrong. And maybe he didn't mean to kill her, but he just panicked. I think that's quite likely in a way, because to me, I just think, why would he have done that on that cruise ship where, he was never going to get away with it? You can't. What was he thinking of doing? Putting her body over the side? But maybe he was, before she was found, maybe he was sussing out where all the CCTV was and wondering if he could just sort of put her body over the side. I don't know what he was thinking. He says he's forgotten everything. Well, if you believe that, you believe anything. I expect his mum believes him. Anyway, so let's have a look at the actual court case. Now, this is Law and Crime. Let's have a look.
Yes.
What was the stepsister's name?
Anna Kepner.
Anna Kepner's mysterious death on a family cruise has ripped her family apart. And now it's sparked an explosive legal fight, a separate urgent custody battle has just forced new answers about her final hours into the open. In a courtroom today, Anna's stepmom testified under oath about the sleeping arrangements and the lack of supervision on the night Anna died. This case just pulled back the curtain on the chaotic, questionable decisions that surrounded Anna Kepner in her final days. And for the first time, we heard someone mention what potential charges could look like connected to Anna's death. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. Hey, a lot of our stories show the scary reality. Scrub them. Take your
go through.
Understand Anna's stepmom, Chantel Kepner, and she was grilled about the decisions that she and her husband, Christopher Kepner, who is Anna's biological dad, made on that ill-fated family cruise. Now, Anna Kepner's stepmom revealed that 3 teenagers, you have Anna, who was 18 years old, her 16-year-old stepbrother, who the family says is a suspect in Anna's death, and a 14-year-old stepbrother of Anna. The 3 of them were placed in a...
Now, he's calling him the 14-year-old a stepbrother, but I thought the 14-year-old was Anna's biological brother. It's just so confusing, the whole thing, I think.
A single stateroom. Now, the stepmom, Chantel Kepner, admitted the 16-year-old, who again is now a suspect, missed his critical nighttime medication twice on that trip, and she testified that no one checked on them the night that Anna died. But this...
So they're going to blame it on him missing his crucial medication because he's ADHD. Now, you know, I know ADHD is a real thing, but I do think sometimes it's over-diagnosed these days. Everybody's got it, it feels like. And when I looked into this, he was diagnosed with having ADHD just as she split up from his dad. So he's probably, you know, do you think, sometimes I think that instead of looking into the causes of why people are acting out, you know, like if he started sort of acting up after she and his dad split up, that's probably why. But then straight down the doctors these days, isn't it? Oh, yeah, he's got ADHD. Get him on medication. They're all on, you know, get him on medication. But did he have ADHD, really? Or was he just acting out because his mum and dad had split up? You know, sometimes there is more to it. I think we've all got a bit of ADHD and we all act out at times. You know, I've known people, one of my nephews had ADHD when he was little. Well, he's still got it, I suppose. It never leaves you, but he's a grown man now. But, oh, my God, you knew that was ADHD because it's from birth. From birth, he was, as you know, I know all kids are hyper. But he's so cute, though. He's cute as well. But, oh, my God, it's exhausting looking after him. You know, literally never stopped. I've never seen a kid like it. And you had to watch him every minute. He had no sense of fear. He'd be walking. He'd be in the kitchen. He'd get up on the, I don't know how he'd even get up there. He'd be walking along the cabinets. And in your car, he'd be trying to drive it. He'd be grabbing hold of the gear stick. And, you know, he was beautiful. He was such a beautiful, kind, lovely, loving little boy. But really hard work. And that was from birth. It wasn't something that came on. You know, does ADHD come on later like that? To me, I would think that boy probably was disturbed by his parents breaking up. And then, of course, you know, I think you've got to be careful of just sweeping everything under the carpet of ADHD or autism or whatever, and not looking at what is actually happening in his life and why suddenly at that age, after, you know, because from what I've read about him, he was okay up till then. But about around the time that she split up from the father and her split up, that's when he started all this strange behaviour. So also, of course, probably hitting puberty and things.
This hearing had a different urgent purpose, an emergency request to remove another child from that home. The father of the child, who is Anna Kepner's stepmom's ex-husband. So yes, there's a lot of layers to this blended family. He has argued that the cruise tragedy and the suspect living there,
So
that no one checked on them the night that Anna died. But this hearing had a different urgent purpose, an emergency request to remove another child from that home, the father of the child.
So I'm presuming, because this is the biological father of the boy who's been accused of killing Anna.
Who is Anna Kepner's stepmom's
And
ex-husband.
he's made an emergency motion to have his daughter taken out of the household, from what I can gather. And listen, I'll put you on a spoiler alert. The judge does not allow it. The judge leaves that girl in the home. Honest to God, there's something wrong with these judges as well.
So yes, there's a lot of layers to this blended family. He has argued that the cruise tragedy and the suspect living there put his daughter, who is Anna's stepsister, in imminent danger. Now, the judge ruled today, but the testimony peeled back the curtain on the chaotic environment and questionable decisions that surrounded Anna Kepner in her final days. Now, we're going to break down every critical admission from that stand. 18-year-old Anna Kepner's death on the Carnival cruise ship Horizon, which happened back in November, it was shocking enough. You just don't see cases like this on cruise ships that often. And the FBI has been investigating, because the FBI investigates cases that happen out on the water, often on cruise ships. But again, violent crimes don't often happen on cruise ships. And according to the family of Anna Kepner, who have spoken to ABC News, they say that Anna's cause of death was asphyxiation, that she was strangled inside the stateroom that she was staying in with her 16-year-old stepbrother, that she died from an arm across her neck. Now, the family has also said the only other person to go into the stateroom at the time that Anna died was her 16-year-old stepbrother. Now, that is certainly critical and important information when you think about the death investigation into Anna Kepner. And
I mean, from what everybody's saying and saying openly, this boy is the one that's under suspicion. Why no handcuffs yet, I wonder?
this custody hearing that we were following today, that is not directly connected to the death of Anna Kepner. But again, the information is very important to her story. And it was the aftermath of what happened aboard the ship that really ripped apart this blended family, a family that went on this trip. There were 9 of them, and it was supposed to be the start of a new tradition, they told ABC News, celebrating this family that had come together. But after court...
It was supposed to be the start of a new tradition, celebrating this blended family that had come together. God. In the meantime, he's got an unhealthy interest in Anna that everybody seemed to know about, except the parents, who were saying they were like Los Tres Amigos. Poor Anna. She wasn't protected, was she? Now, they're saying, and maybe it's true, maybe she didn't want to go in the cabin with her grandparents because, they're a lot older, aren't they? So maybe she did want to go in the cabin with the younger ones. I just don't know. You can't believe that she would have wanted to share a cabin with 2 teenage boys. But then what were her options? Because her other option would have been sharing a cabin with her grandparents, who obviously are a lot older than her. I mean, really, Anna and the girl, her sister, should have been in a cabin together. I know she's young, maybe because she was underage, but Anna is 18. She's old enough to be a babysitter. And at the end of the day, the cabin, it's only for sleeping, isn't it? It's not as if you're going to be spending your days in there watching the telly and the little girl won't be attended. Just to sleep. I don't know, just feel like she shouldn't have been in with 2 teenage boys.
Filings surfaced indicating that Anna's 16-year-old stepbrother is a suspect in her death. Her stepmom's ex-husband, his name's Thomas Hudson, he took emergency action, leading to what we saw today. He filed a motion claiming that with a homicide suspect having recently lived in the home, his young daughter, who also lives with Anna's stepmom and biological father, Chris Kepner, was now in immediate danger. He asked the judge to remove that young girl immediately, and that set the stage for today. But as both sides laid out their case, they were forced to relive and answer for the critical hours and decisions leading up to Anna Kepner's death. Now,
I just can't believe they've left that girl in that house. I know he's been removed from the house, but he's in a relative's house. How can you, that girl should be taken out of this household and put with her father, because, you know, she's not safe. For a start, they don't take any notice, do they, of their kids and what they're doing? You know, they don't monitor them, they don't supervise them properly. And don't forget, Anna's biological father, who is Shauna's husband, he has offences against young girls in his past. That's a red flag straight away. How is that little girl being allowed to remain in that house with a stepfather is a PDF? And the only reason, I think some sort of plea deal was made with him, because in the end, of course, he married that babysitter. So he was with Anna's mother. He was with Anna's mother. He had an affair with the babysitter when she was 15 years old. And he then ended up marrying her when she got to 18. So he's got a thing for young girls. And then Anna's mother said that he'd had 24 affairs. And wasn't it at least 3 or 4 of which were with girls, underage girls. So that in itself is a reason to get that girl out of that house, because the paedophile's in there. Apart from the fact that the girl's own brother is a danger. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? This whole thing is mad. And the one who suffered because of all of it is Anna. And now they're trying to say that Anna wanted to be in that room because it was the Tres Amigos.
I will tell you as we get into this that the FBI has been very quiet about their investigation. And they have not said really anything beyond just confirming that they're investigating Anna Kepner's death. So much of the information has come from media reports and has come from family members who have given interviews. But this is really the only official court proceeding where we have learned more information about the circumstances the night that Anna Kepner died. Yeah. And it's important to note that at the time of this recording, no one has been charged in connection to.
Still no one's been charged. And this is the only information we're getting, because the FBI are not giving out any information. And we're only getting this information because of this separate court case, custody court case.
Anna Kepner's death. So Thomas Hudson, who's Anna's stepmom's ex-husband, his attorney, came in today ready to argue a broad case, but he laid out his core concerns about the cruise right in his opening statement. Listen to how he framed it for the judge.
Your Honor, in this case, obviously, it's our position that the youngest child is at risk for a number of reasons. As the court is aware through the pleadings, there's a young lady who's passed away. That matter is still under investigation.
A young lady that has passed away, she's been murdered. You know, I don't know why they're putting it in polite terms. A young lady that has passed away, the FBI have declared it a homicide. That is official. It is a homicide. So a young lady has not passed away. A young lady has been murdered.
That was not my client's child, but the stepchild of the mother in this case.
Oh my God!
And the remaining 16-year-old is now a suspect in that.
Even he sounds confused, and he's the bloody lawyer. Everyone's confused. This family. Poor Anna has suffered from the complexity of this family. A father's a PDF, a biological mother's a recovering drug addict. A stepmother doesn't give a shit about anyone except her son, who's the psycho son. Anna never stood a chance, did she?
In that case. In this case, the mother took the children on a cruise against my client's wishes, while preventing him from having regular contact with those children. We believe that that the arrangements that were made by the mother as far as the sleeping arrangements were insufficient, that the 18-year-old, 16-year-old, and another 14-year-old were all placed in the same stateroom. There's indications that they may have, because they were in international waters, may have been engaging in activities that they normally couldn't engage in while they were in the United States properly being supervised.
The attorney for Anna's stepmom, Chantel Kepner, had a very different view of the situation in that home after Anna's death. Her core argument is simple. The person at the center of the FBI's investigation, her own 16-year-old son, Anna's stepbrother, the suspect reportedly in Anna's death, was living elsewhere.
We believe, and I think we filed that in our response, that there's no emergency that
Yeah,
exists.
fuck off. Sorry. Honest
There
God,
was
it
an
makes me
incident
so
on the
angry.
cruise ship, the Federal Bureau.
Oh, no urgency, no urgency, no danger. You know, not until she's murdered on Christmas Day because they all get together or whatever. Do you know what? This is just typical of other things we've seen on my channel as well, other crime stories, family court judges allowing people like, what's his name, Jake, Jake Harrow to be in a position where he's looking after children again, even though he practically beat to death one of his own children when she was a baby. And then, oh yeah, released out with a slap on the finger. And this woman, she's winding me up. You know, it's just like, oh yeah, he's been removed from the house. He's living with relatives. Are you seriously going to tell me that they're not going to get together at any time, that he's never going to be allowed back into the house? That mother is completely oblivious to the danger to her own child. Well, she's oblivious to the danger to her own daughter from the PDF that she's ended up marrying. She should have looked into his past and seen that he's got, you know, a history of of abusing young girls. And then she's allowed him into her house. That girl needs to be taken out of that house, not just because of the son, the brother, but because of the stepfather as well. He's a danger to young girls. And that mother is a danger to her own daughter, because she is exactly the sort of mother that would never admit it, even if it was, if it was found out that her husband was abusing that daughter of hers. She's exactly one of those kind of mothers that would turn a blind eye to it, because nothing matters more to her than her man. Not even her own daughter matters so much.
Of investigations is investigating that. There have been no arrests made yet, but since my clients were advised that was a suspect in that, after he was released from the hospital upon the return to the United States, he was placed with a relative of the mother's. And not only did that happen, but mom contacted dad, and dad signed an agreement to say that this child would be placed with a third party, thereby removing any risk of any danger to any of the other children in the home. So that has been resolved.
And in a later statement, her attorney revealed something significant. Anna Kepner's stepbrother could potentially face charges. This is the first time we've heard in court that criminal charges for Anna's death are actively being considered.
At this point, we're not sure. We're not sure what the FBI is going to do, whether he's going to be charged federally or whether they're going to turn it over to the state.
Now, with that potential prosecution hanging in the air, the stepmother was called to the stand and forced to answer for the exact environment and decisions that the FBI is investigating. The questioning went straight to the cruise and the choices made there.
Did you recently go on a cruise?
Yes.
And did any of the children go with you on the cruise? Did you reach out to Mr. Hudson to request that he agree to passports for the children?
I reached out to him to inform him of my itinerary to take the children on a cruise, and did ask for the passports, but they weren't needed in this cruise.
And Mr. Hudson actually refused to cooperate with obtaining passports, correct?
To sign for the passports, yes.
I wonder if he knows about her new husband's past. about his relationships with young girls. You wouldn't feel, if you were the father of that young girl that's living in that household, and you knew about her new partner's past and the relationships he'd had with young girls, you wouldn't want your daughter living there, would you? This totally besides what's happened to Anna. This woman, she's got no emotion. She doesn't care that Anna's dead at all. In fact, I found that even when her grandparents were talking in that, nobody's got any emotion when they talk, even her own biological mother. She was more about how it all affected her. Nobody's talking about Anna, and Anna is dead.
You said passports weren't necessary, so they weren't obtained.
Correct.
As far as the minor children, what were the sleeping arrangements on this cruise?
With my husband and his 9-year-old daughter, and then shared a room with his stepsister and stepbrother. The room was directly across from ours.
What was the stepsister's name?
Anna Kepner.
And what was the stepbrother's name? And how old is
14.
And how old was Anna?
18.
Now, who made the decision to have these 3 teenagers in one room in the cruise?
We had talked it over with our travel agent, and that was what was suggested.
Did you have to sign any special permission for
No,
the children to reside together? So was it a mutual decision between yourself and your husband?
correct.
And at some point, did you discover that one of the children had passed away?
Yes,
And when was that you discovered that?
Friday morning.
When was the last time that you had seen the child before that Friday morning?
Thursday night.
You know approximately what time?
Right around 6:30.
It's funny when she says Thursday night, because 6:30 is not really night, is it? Anyway, not as far as I'm concerned. It's evening. Not that it matters, but so she hadn't actually seen her for quite a long time. She just went off to bed. Nobody checked in on those teenagers. Teenagers need more checking in on than young kids. Personally, I think young kids would probably just stay there and play games or whatever. Teenagers are the ones that are likely to get up to, there's likely to be problems with. Probably do need more checking up on, especially on a cruise ship, not at home. I mean, when you're at home, you can't be going into teenagers' bedrooms and things because they don't like it, do they? But you're on a cruise ship, they could be doing anything. And they were. And nobody checked, they weren't supervised at all, were they?
And your child, did you see him that Thursday night as well?
Yes,
What time did you see him at?
closer to 7, just a little bit before 7.
What was he doing at that time?
He was headed back to his room.
Do you know whether or not was present in the room as well?
They all were headed back to their room, as far as I know.
So where was their room in relation to your room?
Right across the hall. You walked out my door, their door was right in front of it.
Did you return to your room that evening?
Yes,
What time did you return to your room?
7 o'clock.
7 p.m.?
Yeah, right. It was actually closer to 7:30.
Did you stay in the room for the rest of the night
Yes,
with the teenagers across the hall? Did you ever go in and check on them?
no, I had went to sleep.
Do you know if Christopher went across the hall to check on them?
Not that I know of.
No, I'm trying to be kind because, I'm sure she wishes she had gone in and checked on him. And, I know that the whole everything for this family has changed, hasn't it? It's horrible. But she doesn't I don't really I don't get the feeling that she's feeling sorry for Anna. She's feeling sorry for herself, if anyone, and maybe her psycho son. But, she's very emotionless. Maybe she's just trying to hold it all together. Maybe I'm being unfair. I don't know.
Do you know ever left the room that night on that Thursday night?
I never seen him leave the room.
Now, as this continued on, the questioning of Chantel Kepner, the attorney for her ex-husband pivoted to questions about the environment on the ship, probing what activities the teenagers might have had access to, specifically alcohol and gambling. Now, Chantel says the underage children didn't drink because they're not old enough. But then she was pressed specifically about 18-year-old Anna, and her answer is a firm, quote, "I don't know." And this leaves a question about what supervision or awareness there was of Anna, an adult.
When she's talking about her son, she says, "Oh, definitely didn't gamble, definitely didn't do this, definitely didn't do that." And then when they're asked about Anna, she says, "I don't know." It's like they're always casting slurs on Anna. And Anna, there was nothing found in her system. So, but it's like they will try and bring it all round to Anna, I think.
Who was sharing a room with two minors. Now, take a listen to this.
Had you drank it all during the cruise?
I had 2 pina coladas and a blue Hawaiian earlier in the week, but it wasn't on the same day. It was like one a day.
I don't believe that, do you?
Do you know if the children, based on being in international waters, could have drink?
I mean, you don't go on a holiday and not have a drink, really. And if you're a drinker, I mean, obviously some people don't drink and they wouldn't. And she had a lot of children. She had young children as well. I just don't believe that when you're on holiday on a cruise, you would only have 3 drinks.
Alcohol?
No.
You don't know?
No, they didn't. They're not old enough.
They didn't, no.
What about Anna?
I don't know.
I don't know. See how she says about the boys, they definitely didn't. Look at her face there. She's thinking about something there. Something. So the boys definitely didn't. But Anna, I don't know. So she's trying to cast aspersions on Anna. What's she thinking there? She's thinking about something. She's seeing something in her head there, isn't she? This family are horrible to Anna, I think.
Weren't you aware that the children were gambling at some point?
Well, Anna's 18, so I know she was in there at one point in time, but the other kids were not.
You're sure that the other kids were not gambling?
I'm sure the other kids were not gambling.
Yeah,
Next,
but Anna maybe.
The questioning turned to a critical detail that goes directly to the state of the 16-year-old suspect in the hours before Anna's death. His prescribed medication, and this is new information that we have not heard up until this point. The attorney established that the teen has ADHD and is taking 2 medications, one called Concerta, which he takes in the morning, and then there's a nighttime pill he takes for insomnia called Clonidine. Chantel testified that she held on to both medications on the cruise.
Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but have you ever known so many kids on medication these days from early age? Madeline Soto was on all those medications, wasn't she? All these, is it just an American thing or is it the same in the UK? Why are young people on so many drugs? Why would you be on tablets for insomnia? It's the age of 16. It's just, sorry, it's beyond me. It's beyond me. These sort of tablets are not going to make anything better. In fact, if anything, now look at the youth of today. Look at the mental health crisis in young people. So whatever you think or don't think about ADHD or autism or taking medication, etc., it's not working, is it? It's not working. We've got this mental health epidemic amongst young people. anxiety. How many children don't even go to school now? They're homeschooled because they're too anxious to go to school. You know, whatever you think about rights and wrongs, it is not working. It is not helping. Children are not happier now than they used to be. They're not. And the internet has got a lot to do with it, and social media and things. What was I watching the other day? And I thought, God, that's a really good point they've made. You know, years ago, if you were bad, naughty, or whatever, at any age, and for as long as your parents were in control of you, your punishment would be you can't go out. You can't go out. You can't go and call for such and such, because there'd be friends that your parents didn't like. They were normally right, but you always would sneak out and see them. Those but it would be you can't play out. You can't play out. You can't go around to anyone's house. That would be your punishment. Nowadays, your punishment would be to make you go out, wouldn't it? You can't have your devices. That's your punishment these days. You can't sit in your room and just play on your video game or get on your socials or whatever. Has a difference between how things have changed. We were always out when we were young, always. And staying in is catching. Do you know, what's the word for it? I've found it as well, especially after COVID. So, of course, during COVID, we had to stay in, and young people had to stay in. So it was even worse then. So that's made it even worse. And it's sort of infectious. The more you stay in, the more you want to stay in, because you start to feel comfortable inside and scared of what's outside. And also constantly on your social media, internet, etc., you're being shown how dangerous it is outside. There's storms, there's plane crashes, there's terrorist attacks. There's so many there's stabbings and this, that and the other. So we've just changed so much. Gone from a time where you would have punished your children by making them stay in. And now you're punishing your children by taking their devices off them. And you'd be punishing them, but it's like, I'll make you go out to the shops if you're not good. It's crackers, isn't it? Really, how life has turned full circle.
But then came a major admission about the final night.
As far as does he have any diagnoses?
He has ADHD.
Yeah.
And how long has he been diagnosed with ADHD?
About 3 or 4 years.
Those after your separation from Mr. Hudson, correct?
About that timeline, yes.
And does he receive medication for his ADHD?
He does.
And what medication was he on for his ADHD?
Methylphenidate.
Would you pronounce that for me and spell it, Pam, if you know?
Methylphenidate. I don't know the spelling.
Okay.
The name brand's Concerta. That
Okay.
helps.
Thank you.
And how often would take that medication?
Every morning.
And did he take the medication on the cruise with him?
Yes. He also takes a nighttime pill as well.
The same medication?
No, it's clonidine.
What is that for?
Insomnia.
Did you hold on to the medication?
Yes.
Does seem strange, a 16-year-old having insomnia. Normally teenagers, you can't get them out of bed, never mind, you know what I mean? It's like normally they sleep about 18 hours a day, don't they, when they're teenagers? I mean, that is a medical fact, they do. And that's, teenagers do need more sleep. So why has he got insomnia at 16? I mean, it just seems ridiculous to me. And then it makes you wonder, is it because of his ADHD, or is it because of anxiety, or is it because he's on bloody video games till God knows what time? I've been through that with my son. young lads and girls, they love video games and they're on them. God, you know, you can't, their eyes are like saucers at the end of it, you know, of hours on video games. And then, of course, these various medications that they put teenagers on, they have side effects. Maybe the insomnia was a side effect of the other tablets he was taking. I just don't know. But all it just seems to me is there's too many young people on medication. I think it's wrong. I do think it's wrong. And I think the only person who's profiting from it is Big Pharma. You know, these drugs and everything, they're worth a fortune, aren't they? You know, these drugs companies make a fortune out of getting little young people addicted to drugs.
Did you make sure he took his medications every day?
He took his morning pill every day, and he missed 2 doses of his clonidine at night.
You held on to the clonidine as well?
Mm-hmm.
That's yes?
Yes, sorry.
And what do you mean he missed the doses? What happened there?
He went to bed before he got it. He was already asleep.
Including
Sorry.
that Thursday night?
Listen,
No, Thursday night.
I know it's not funny. I know it's not funny. Maybe it was the sea air then. So, you know, he didn't take his medication for insomnia because he was already asleep. You know, so why is that? What happened to his insomnia that night? You know, maybe he had a drink and that's what made him tired. Or maybe it was the sea air. I don't know, but it just shows you he doesn't need the bloody medication. You're only 16. You don't need medication to make you sleep.
Didn't get it. I fell asleep before he did.
God.
So just to make sure I understand, ma'am, while on the cruise, he missed taking that nighttime medication twice. One of the nights was because he fell asleep prior to taking the medication, and the other night was the night before.
Correct. I fell asleep before he
You
did.
fell asleep, so he did not get the medication the night.
Yeah, he didn't come and
before
ask
the
for it.
incident. Yes, ma'am. All right, thank you.
So, according to her own testimony, the 16-year-old suspect who had been prescribed medication for insomnia did not receive that medication on the final night. Chantel says that she fell asleep before her son did, so she did not give him his medication. Now, this raises immediate questions for the investigation. What was this 16-year-old's state of mind or ability to sleep that night without his medication?
Oh.
And could it have played a role in his...
Well, he fell asleep the other night before she had a chance to give it him. So it's just ridiculous. Sorry, it is ridiculous. If you're going to turn it around and say it's because he didn't take his insomnia pill, that's why he woke up and murdered his stepsister because of his insomnia. Is that what they're going to say? Or is he going to say he was sleepwalking or something? You know, honest to God, this case is just crazy. It's crazy, not because, you know, at the end of the day, this young girl lost her life, but it's just ridiculous. The adults in this case are just, honest to God, Anna never stood a chance, did she, with these adults responsible for her, and not only her, but the stepbrother. He doesn't stand a chance either, for God's sake. You know, so let's just think about this for a minute. So if you're a mother and your son has got insomnia, so you've got to make sure he takes a tablet every night. Why she never left him the tablet there to take, I'm not sure. But anyway, she didn't. So what sort of a mother is she then? So if that was me, I'd be thinking, oh my God, I mustn't forget to give my son this tablet because otherwise he won't be able to sleep. That would be on my mind before I fell asleep. Maybe she had one too many pina coladas that she said she only had 3 in the whole cruise. You know, how could she fall asleep before making sure her son got the medication he's supposed to need? So one time he fell asleep first. He was asleep before she had a chance to give him the medication. And the other time she fell asleep and forgot to give him the medication. This family is a joke family.
actions or behavior. Now, the hearing also revealed how the tragedy surrounding Anna has disrupted the lives of the children living in that home. The attorney then asked Chantel about the immediate consequences for her young daughter, still living in the shadow of this tragedy.
After the cruise, did she have to be removed from school?
They placed her on homeschool. They just unenrolled her this past Monday.
And why is that?
That was their choice to unenroll her,
Say their choice. Who are you talking about?
the school's choice. It had nothing to do with her behavior or anything. It had to do with the media.
She's currently on a homeschool status indefinitely.
No, she's being enrolled into another school.
Oh, so they're enrolling her into another school because she can't go to the school that she was at because of the media attention. Why don't they just let her go and live with her dad? She wants to be out of this. This is not a good family environment. I can't believe, this judge in the end decided to let her stay there. I just can't believe it. What's wrong with these family courts?
Did you discuss that with Mr. Hudson?
I let him know that he had asked me to let him know when she was enrolled, and I told him I would. But I had just found out this week that she was unenrolled from the school.
God, that poor girl. That little
Yes.
girl. So she's been unenrolled from a school. She's got to go to a different school. She just found out, because I'm sure she had a relationship with Anna. She will have had some sort of relationship with Anna, being her stepsister. She got this as a mother. She's got a stepfather's a convicted PDF who married his 18-year-old babysitter. So that little girl's not got much going for her, has she?
As far as going to be allowed to come back to your home at any point?
At this time, no. Not with the FBI investigation.
Later, Chantel Kepner's attorney worked to solidify the narrative about the relationship between Anna and...
Look, she actually looks regretful that he won't be coming home. I would, son or no son, I wouldn't want that boy anywhere near my daughter once, it was found that he was likely to have already killed Anna. It don't matter whether you love him or not, don't matter whether he's your son or not, you don't want him near your daughter.
Be allowed to come back to your home at any point?
At this time, no. Not with the FBI investigation.
Later,
No, they wouldn't have to tell me he couldn't come home. I wouldn't let him come home.
Chantel Kepner's attorney worked to solidify the narrative about the relationship between Anna and her stepbrothers, a relationship that has been described very differently.
Anna, who we know passed away, she was 18, correct?
Correct.
And she was an adult.
Correct.
And was she given the option of staying in another room?
All three of the kids were.
And would that room have been with Grandma and Grandpa?
Correct.
And they didn't want to do that?
No, they wanted to stay together.
I don't believe this woman. Don't believe her.
Did they all get along?
Yeah, the three of them are like the three amigos. They're best friends.
This is the picture the stepmom's side is committed to.
The three amigos, according to the stepmother, but not according to Anna, what Anna supposedly has told her friends and what her ex saw. So who do we believe?
A close chosen bond between the teenagers, which is a stark contrast to prior claims that Anna was actually afraid of her stepbrother. And according to her ex-boyfriend who spoke to Inside Edition, the concern that her stepbrother was, quote, obsessed with Anna.
Did your ex-wife inform you that she was going on a cruise and taking the children?
She did.
And what was your position regarding that?
I wasn't okay with it. I let her know I wasn't okay with it.
And why was it that you weren't okay with it?
Because at that time, I was getting nowhere with seeing my kids. I had barely any communication at all.
Now, there is one notable absence from today's hearing. Anna's own father, Christopher Kepner.
Yeah.
He was subpoenaed to testify about the safety of the home and the decisions made on that cruise. But according to Fox News, he dodged service and he did not appear. Now,
yeah, he won't want to be asked questions, because if he would have appeared at that court hearing, you know, if I was the father, Anna's father, I'd get my lawyer to be asking him about his own convictions for PDFs and going out with girls under the age of 16. And there he is in a household with a woman who's got a young daughter.
as for Anna's case, which is separate from the hearing that we just talked about, the FBI says its investigation continues. They really have not said anything beyond that since the investigation began when the ship returned back to the port in Miami on November 8th and her body was taken off of the ship. To our knowledge, no arrests have been made. The FBI hasn't named any suspects, but the family of Anna Kepner and the attorney for Anna Kepner's stepmom's husband has said that 16-year-old stepbrother is a suspect. But again, we're waiting for confirmation from the FBI on that. We are going to continue to follow this case as we have from the very beginning.
So, yeah, and so are we. We're going to follow this case. If I get any updates, I will come on and let you know. But it seems to me that this whole family is just a mess. It's a mess. And Anna, you feel like she didn't stand much of a chance. She's like, as I've said before, she's the only normal one amongst them. She's the normal one from the Addams family. No wonder she wanted to get away. No wonder she wanted to join the forces. She probably couldn't wait to get away. God. Very sad for this girl. So, Anna, I hope you're at peace. It's justice for Anna. We just want to find out what happened. And if the brother did this, the stepbrother, you know, he deserves to be held accountable for it. And we deserve, you know, Anna deserves justice. And you know what? If this family were any sort of decent family, they'd want justice. But it seems to me they spend all their time defending this brother. Even Anna's biological grandparents, all defending the brother. Nobody, what is anyone saying about Anna, poor Anna, what she's had to go through? Imagine what she's had to go through that night. I mean, did he sort of, you know, surprise her, jump on her, put her in an arm lock? Was he trying to attack her in an sex way? Maybe he was trying to make her unconscious and he just went too far. I don't know, but we just want to know what happened. And we want whoever it is to get justice, proper justice, don't we? You know, he'll be going to, I'll be putting him in the hellhole maybe one day, this boy. Just because he's 16 doesn't mean to say it's acceptable what he did or we should forgive him for what he did. When it's proven, of course, that he did anything. But it's weird, isn't it? Have you ever known a case where it seems like everyone, even the family, are saying that he is guilty, but there's still been no charges? Very strange. You know, normally it's like, oh, don't speculate and blah, 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 blah. But see, the family themselves that are saying that it's likely he did it, but he's not been charged. Strange. Okay, thank you for watching. Hope you have a great Sunday. If you're watching this live, it's Sunday. And I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, thank you for watching. And take care of yourselves. And until I see you again, may your God go with you. Let's put the upbeat Christmas video on. Try and cheer us up. Adios. Oh, I've put the wrong one on. Hang on. Try again. It's the Christmas one I want to put on. There it is.
Click that like if you're smiling today. Give a follow to help spread the play. Share the play with friends everywhere, so more can laugh and show they care. Like, follow, share, subscribe, don't hide. Like, follow, share, subscribe, don't hide. Like, follow, share, subscribe, don't hide, don't hide. Join Vicky Marie's Ride Worldwide. Tap that bell so you never miss a dose of love and endless bliss. YouTube others, search my name, Vicky Marie, let's grow this flame. Thanks for the support, you're the best crew. Now go tell the world you know what to do. Vicky Marie, ha ha ha. You Marie,
Ha ha ha.
let's drive now. Click that like if you're smiling today. Give a follow to help spread the play. Share the joy with friends everywhere, so more can laugh and show they care. Like, follow, share, subscribe, don't hide. Like, follow, share, subscribe, don't hide. Like, follow, share, subscribe, don't hide, don't hide. Let's grow this flame. Click that like if you're smiling today. Give a follow to help spread the play. Share the joy with friends everywhere, so more can laugh and show they care.